Rugby legend Joost van der Westhuizen dies at 45. Government announces plans to combat the devastating armyworm. A very happy Monday to you. You're watching eNews Direct. I'm Duduzile Ramela.
And I'm Sandile Kangose. Good evening.
To comment on any of our stories, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct.
Yep, and tonight our hashtags are RIP Joost and Full Armyworm.
We start with this. One of the country's rugby legends, Joost van der Westhuizen, has died after a long battle with motor neuron disease. The 45-year-old will be remembered for playing in South Africa's 1995 World Cup winning team. The best scrum half of his generation, he was born and raised in Pretoria. Van der Westhuizen made his provincial debut for the Blue Bulls in 1992, playing for the team until retiring in 2003. He won his first Springbok cap in 1993. Let's take you to Loftus Versfeld Stadium in Pretoria now, where my colleague Kate Nogwe is standing by with the very latest. A very good evening to you, Kate. Of course, we know that Loftus was very special to US because this is where most of the magic happened, no?
Definitely, Duduzile, as you mentioned there, he is definitely one of the best scrum half of his generation. And of course, he played his rugby right here at the stadium where he is remembered the most. When we arrived here, Duduzile, actually they were lowering the flag and they say they're going to keep it lowered until the funeral of the legend. And earlier on, the Blue Bulls rugby management, they released a statement. Of course, I don't know if you know, but the team is actually in Australia right now preparing for Super Rugby, so the pre-matches. So most management members were not here when we arrived, but they have issued a statement. I'd just like to read a sentence from there when they say, our condolences and thoughts go out to his family, friends, and the millions of fans that adored him. Joost will be remembered for being a warrior, remembered as a warrior that terrified opposition on the field, and the one that took on MND head on while raising massive awareness for this cause. What that speaks of, Duduzile, is exactly what we've been saying all afternoon. And if you speak to anybody, they'll tell you that adjectives to describe Joost van der Westhuizen will probably be something like he was determined, he was fearless. And if you remember on the field, most people don't know this, but he played the 1995 Rugby World Cup final with a broken rib and will be remembered as probably the first man to charge on Jonah Lomu with that broken rib. It just goes to show you how fearless he was. And obviously his athleticism is something that we're going to write history books about. But that's just something that in his third World Cup, he was still a first choice scrummy. Of course, as I mentioned, he played his rugby most here, Duduzile, where he captained the Blue Bulls to 2 Currie Cup finals, having played 149 Currie Cup, earning those Currie Cup caps rather for the Blue Bulls, and just under 30 caps for the Super Rugby team. But yeah, he'll mostly be remembered here. Unfortunately, when we arrived, like I mentioned, there was no one here to welcome us in terms from management. But they did say, unconfirmed at this stage, but they'll definitely do something during the week.
Nothing from management, at least where somebody meeting you there is concerned. But that is his hometown, as you mentioned, Pretoria. What's the reaction been like there? Have you had an opportunity to interact with some of his fans? Very quickly for us, Kate.
No fans yet to Duduzile, but up front, obviously, there is a candle already that is waiting to be lit for Joost van der Westhuizen. They did say that they're encouraging the public, obviously, to just come and put some flowers on and just pay their respects. But when we did speak to one lady who works for the Bulls company, who actually went to school with Joost, and she was just telling us how saddened they were when they heard of the news. Obviously, as you can expect it, this is a man who was adored across the world, but most significantly here at this venue where I mentioned he played most of his rugby, winning those 2 Currie Cups, captaining the Bulls to 2 Currie Cup finals, trophies, that is. So yeah, definitely we are expecting management and some board members to come a bit later to just put some flowers in front with the candle that's up front here. But at this stage, there's been nobody we've been able to speak of. But also, if you look at the time, most people have just gotten off work. So in the next hour or so, we are hoping that there will be somebody who actually will pay their respects. But if not, I'm sure that something like that will happen in the course of the week.
And that's where we leave it with our reporter Kate Nogwe at Loftus Versfeld Stadium in Pretoria. Thank you so much for that update. In other news, government has announced plans to stop the the worm that's threatening the livelihoods of South African farmers. It says various chemicals and new pesticides will be used to stop the fall armyworm. The invasive worm is destroying crops in at least 3 of the country's maize-producing provinces. Farmers in Limpopo, the Northwest and Free State have reported an unknown worm ravaging their crops. Countries with confirmed outbreaks can face import bans on their agricultural products. The infestation comes as the sector is just beginning to recover from one of the worst droughts in decades. Minister Senzeni Zokwana says an emergency plan is in place to find a suitable pesticide.
As the fall armyworm is a new pest to South Africa, no pesticide was previously registered to be used against it. A process of emergency registration of agricultural chemicals is ongoing, with 2 active ingredients are already registered to be applied against this pest.
The care of psychiatric patients has come under increasing scrutiny. Last week, the Health Ombudsman announced that at least 94 people died after being transferred to NGOs from a Life Esidimeni center. However, Life Esidimeni may also have its own problems. Between 2013 and 2015, on average, 8 of its 1,900 patients died a month. Now, that's 96 patients a year. One woman says she's still struggling to find closure after her brother died at Life Esidimeni in Randfontein. Please be warned that some of the following visuals may offend some viewers.
Nikki de Lange's brother Jan was suffering from schizophrenia.
He wasn't an aggressive person. He was a very gentle person, yeah.
He spent several years at Weskoppies, but was moved to Life Esidimeni in Randfontein in 2008. He was relatively healthy, but then he began falling a lot and saying he was scared.
The staff told me that he collapsed, and that's how they found him. But he said to me that he was very scared of the staff member that dishes up the food. When he saw him approaching him, he threw himself on the ground.
He broke his ribs, his hip bones were fractured, and he became extremely thin. He was sent to the Leratong hospital 3 times with injuries after repeated falls. He died in hospital in May 2012. The autopsy report says his cause of death was under investigation, but a forensic pathologist expressed her concern to de Lange.
She said to me in her whole career she's never seen somebody so thin, like really painfully thin, and she only normally sees patients like that come from prisons.
De Lange believes her brother's death was caused by negligence, possible assault and malnutrition. Life Esidimeni says it investigated her brother's demise and found no wrongdoing with regards to his treatment. So de Lange went to the South African Human Rights Commission.
So you approached the Human Rights Commission to conduct an investigation, and a whistleblower approached the SAHRC and told them that the patients at the facility were malnourished, that the doctor-patient ratio at the facility was inadequate, that there was a general neglect of patients, and that there were archaic practices adopted, and that profit-making sometimes overshadowed the care of patients through cost-saving mechanisms.
I don't know how all those points can be ignored. I don't know how that whistleblower's, how they can just slip through the cracks, because you're getting it from somebody who worked for the very organisation.
Despite the whistleblower confirming de Lange's concerns, the SAHRC said because the autopsy was never completed, it was not able to make a conclusive finding as to whether the hospital was negligent. It has no medical negligence experts and so suggests de Lange get a lawyer.
These patients don't have a voice, and I feel that for a long time now the whole system is designed to cover up abuse.
De Lange says she was exhausted and traumatized. She's not interested in suing anyone. She just wants mentally ill patients to be treated with dignity. Anneke Larsen, Cape Town.
Some parents of pupils at eDirect Secondary in Cape Town want to keep the school open. They say their children may fall prey to gangsterism if they move to other schools. Parents are resisting the Education Department's request to transfer the pupils. They were told to move their children by today.
Patrick Smith is one of many pupils forced to move to another school, about 10 kilometers away. The Western Cape Education Department says the school is only entitled to a maximum of 4 teachers because of its low pupil numbers. Teaching has been taking place in containers, which the department says are needed elsewhere.
The school at the moment does not have enough teachers to teach the whole curriculum. It qualifies for 3 teachers, a maximum of 4 teachers. The school has 129 learners at the moment. And then the school itself is dangerous. The premises are dangerous. They were condemned last year. There was a thorough investigation done. An engineer found the roof was in imminent danger of collapsing.
The Human Rights Commission gave the department until the beginning of this month to respond to complaints about the move.
Because when the kids leave now here, when they go to Ravenswood, they must buy other school clothes. And they haven't got money for other clothes.
Parents are also worried about pupils who will drop out as a result of gangsterism and territorial boundaries.
They are taking this school away. And you know what will happen here? There's a lot of gangsterism in Uitzig. Ravensmith's gangsters said they don't want Uitzig children there. In the school here also. The better say they don't want Uitzig children that side. How many blood is the department going to have on their hands? It's most wrong.
Atoll says Ravensmith Senior Secondary School has made provision for the extra pupils. Atim Pongana, Cape Town.
Tributes for Springbok legend Joost van der Westhuizen have been pouring in on social media. Sports Minister Fikile Mbalula says he was a giant and a warrior who made an immense contribution to South African rugby. The presidency has also released a statement saying that South Africa has lost a legend. It's described him as one of the best rugby players the country ever produced. And the Mandela family is growing. Mandla Mandela has announced the impending arrival of his baby on social media. His post shows 2 positive pregnancy tests. The news comes just a year after Mandela tied the knot with Rabia Clark in a traditional Muslim ceremony. A reminder, if you've missed any of the stories we're tracking for you tonight, you can of course find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNewsDirect. Or you can head on over to our website. That's eNCA.com/direct. Your business news and your weather details after this. Money matters now, and ArcelorMittal's share price has bounced back to its highest level since 2015. The steel producer expects headline losses per share to improve over 80% after declaring 13 Rand 38 cents last year. The company's lauded higher steel prices and cost efficiencies as key drivers behind its improved performance. The steel sector is also expected to benefit from rising demand for the commodity. ArcelorMittal's bottom line suffered in 2015. That's after competition authorities slapped it with a 1.5 billion rand fine for price fixing. Let's see how the markets perform today. Here's Candice with all your weather details.
The day starts off with some morning fog along the west coast on Tuesday, with a sizzling hot day expected over parts of the western and eastern Cape interior. It'll be a mostly cloudy day with scattered thunderstorms into the northwest, the Free State and KwaZulu-Natal, with a few isolated thundershowers into the northern and eastern Cape as well as Gauteng, and we're expecting a few showers over the southern part of South Africa. You'll see a partly cloudy and warm day over the northeastern part of KwaZulu-Natal, with thundershowers for the rest of the province, 30 degrees for Pietermaritzburg and Durban. Thundershowers are expected over the northern, western and eastern part of the eastern Cape, with a hot day over the interior, with a few of those highs heading into the middle and upper 30s. Dry though as we head towards Bishu, East London and Port Alfred, with a hot day expected. You'll see a warm day for George Plettenberg Bay and Muscle Bay, with a chance of rainfall over the southern part of the western Cape, as well as some drizzle for Hermanus at 22, partly cloudy for Cape Town and Langebaan at 26. Fog extends along the west coast with thundershowers over over the central and eastern part of the Northern Cape. A few degrees warmer for the Free State on Tuesday, 24 for Bethlehem, 27 for Welkom, with a mostly cloudy day and up to a 60% chance of thundershowers over the eastern parts. You'll see the highest chance of rainfall in Vryburg at 25 degrees, with thundershowers throughout the northwest and a warmer day on Tuesday. Dry for the majority of Limpopo, other than over the extreme southwestern parts. Bella at 32 degrees with isolated thundershowers. Partly cloudy at 31 for Wombela, with thundershowers expected mainly over the southwestern and far western part of Mpumalanga, Emalahleni and Pretoria both at 28 degrees. You'll see up to a 40% chance of afternoon and evening thundershowers for Gauteng, Vereniging topping 27 and Soweto and Johannesburg at 26. On Wednesday, we're expecting thundershowers over the central and eastern half of South Africa, with the possibility of rainfall along the eastern Cape coastline. And then on Thursday, we're forecasting thundershowers over the eastern parts with some drizzle along the east coast, and you'll see sunny and hot weather in the west. That's all from the Weather Centre for now. Enjoy your night.
Thank you, Candice. After the break, in your world of entertainment, a multi-talented international act is getting ready to wow South African audiences. South Africa is getting a touch of blue.
Yeah, but it won't leave you feeling down in the dumps.
In fact, you're likely to feel quite the opposite.
America's award-winning global phenomenon, the Blue Man Group, debuts this week.
It's anything but tame and timid. Spectacular theatrics, comedy, rock and dance all rolled into one. This is what the US wildly popular Blue Man Group is famous for. The trio of bold and blue men who have been seen by millions of audiences worldwide is finally bringing some color here.
Welcome to South Africa, guys.
Thank you.
What took you so long?
Well, it's far away.
That's first to start.
Yeah. We want to bring our show to as many people in as many places as we can. And yeah, it's time now. We're here. We're excited to be here. South Africa is so beautiful.
The Blue Man Group was founded in 1991 and have catapulted into stardom with a unique style of rock theatre meets Cirque du Soleil. But what makes it even more spectacular is that they create their own custom-made instruments.
I think what's really the most unique thing is the way that we will take something that people are really used to and we'll do something really unique and wonderful with it.
So what can South African audiences expect from this blue invasion?
I promise if you come out of the show, you're going to see and hear things that you've never seen or heard before. It will be totally unique. It'll be mind-blowingly fun.
They're due to perform in Johannesburg this month, then it's off to the mother city in March. Tanya Neft, Cape Town.
A reminder of your top stories before we say goodbye. Rugby legend Joost van der Westhuizen dies aged 45. It's your Monday edition of eNews Direct.
Yep, until tomorrow from the both of us, take care.